copy, courtesy of Jandusoft. Developed by the up-and-coming Spanish studio Boomfire Games, Furwind is a likable platformer with a touch of action that tries to emulate the essence of the 80s classics with its pixel art style, yet combining it with current visual effects and mechanics. The result is a short but entertaining fairy tale, capable of bringing fun to adventurers of all ages. Furwind is Boomfire Games' home console debut. This small Spanish studio was founded in Córdoba in September 2015, comprised by only 5 people: Ignacio Castiñeira, game designer and graphics, José M. Torrent, lead programmer, Fran Romger, musician and sound designer, Pedro Moreno, level designer, and Carlos Romero, marketing. In their brief history, they have committed to creating games that blend a retro aesthetic with modern mechanics, as shown not only in this title, but also in its first game, Kick or Die, launched on Android and iOS in 2015. Furwind's development started on 2016 and was followed closely by its fans through sites like IndieTV, earning the 5th spot on the site's top 100 upcoming Indie of the Year list in 2017. The game was originally released on Steam on October 25, 2018, but made its first appearance on home consoles on April 2019, in conjunction with a limited physical edition release for PS4 and PS Vita. The story follows the footsteps of Furwind, a brave anthropomorphic little fox who witnessed how his village was consumed by flames, a product of a vicious attack by an evil faction, the shamans of the cult of Dartholm, a malevolent ancient entity that was trapped for years in the heart of the jungle, until the cultists set it free by performing a dark ritual. That's when Whiteclaw, the clan's chief, sends our hero on an adventure to collect the mystic powers from the spirits of the forest, to be able to face Dartholm's darkness and bring back peace to the village. Furwind's aesthetic is one of his strong suits. The pixel art style reminds us of the Sega Genesis or SNES classics, but it's also impossible to avoid the particle and lighting effects that make it look more current. Stages are brimming with life and detail. While we traverse the different worlds, we can catch a glance at the sunlight scurrying through the jungle's canopy, the rain bathing the rocks of ancient ruins, or the contrast between the subtle blue glow of the fireflies and the ardent crimson of the threatening eyes that stalk us from the darkness. The animations imbue every character with personality, especially our energetic protagonist, whose idle animation echoes Bruce Lee himself, or perhaps Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. The music is charming and compelling. It has a medieval vibe that blends itself very well with the adventure and magic theme of the story and the gameplay. In the sound department, there are some blemishes. We found some curious sound effects, like floating skulls that sound like motor-propelled drones, some popping issues in the voiceover, and even some pronunciation errors in the English version. Nothing serious though. The mechanics allow you to move along swiftly and fluidly through every stage, with multiple platforming tools at your disposal, The cherished double jump mechanic that consistently seems to soothe the pains found in the games of this genre is as essential as always. Being able to control your movements at mid-jump makes your reactions quick and effective. Additionally, we unlock new special powers as we make progress through the story, like a horizontal flight that lets us fly over pits, or simply change our direction quickly in midair, as well as serving as an attack move. The capacity to heal, prompting us to take more risks while exploring or fighting, or summoning an imp that hurls fireballs, allowing you to attack multiple enemies at a time, or letting you create lethal combos against an unfortunate foe. Furthermore, we also have seed bombs that function as grenades. The animation only lets you throw them rolling and bouncing close to the floor, turning their use in exploration into a sort of bolas criollas match. My fellow Venezuelans will understand that reference. Doing our best to adjust our throws so they can land as close as possible to a false block and make it explode. Every skill has a limit of 3 uses to keep the game balanced. If they had infinite uses, we would basically turn into Thanos. Strangely, we are not able to crouch. However, if we press down in mid-flight, we can perform a cannonball maneuver over the enemies, DuckTales style. If all else fails, we can always count on our trusty tail attack, that serves as our basic attack. Nevertheless, this is not infinite either, since it depends on a stamina bar that diminishes with every strike. The game includes its own economy system. During our travels, we'll collect diamonds, gemstones, and other valuable elements that we'll use as currency to buy skill upgrades at Corvo's store, a giant crow that grows rich at our expenses by establishing his shop just outside our village. As expected, each upgrade is more expensive than the last. The catalog is large, so those who want to buy everything will have to make several trips. Currency is also used to activate checkpoints. Nothing is free in this jungle. After every use, the price of the checkpoint goes up, so it won't take long before we're ranting about the jungle's capitalism, especially when we need to sacrifice our hard-earned gemstones in order to avoid having to start over from the beginning if we die. Furwind is a brief adventure, composed only of 3 chapters. Each chapter is comprised by 5 stages and around 6 challenge mini-stages. Once you clear every stage and at least 3 challenges, the chapter's final battle unlocks. The main objective in every stage is to collect 2 talisman pieces, guarded by mini-bosses, in order to activate the exit portal. Those who appreciate exploring will also be able to find the hidden scrolls that unlock the challenge mini-stages. Main stages fall into one of 3 basic groups: jungle, caverns, and fire towers. Jungle stages are the most developed in the entire game. The complexity in their design increases progressively, but unlike the ones found in the other 2 groups, it goes beyond increasing the size or the enemy number. The amount of detail is richer in every sense. Mini-bosses are more diverse. Even the same type of warriors change strategies between stages, i.e., the first kind only do a rush attack, but on the next stage they also use ceiling-mounted traps. They include a more extensive new enemy repertoire and more elaborated traps. Even the aesthetic is more ornate, with notable changes in lighting and color palette. There are sunny jungle stages, autumn jungle stages, and rainy jungle stages. While we wonder about this group of stages, we'll deal with dark fire traps and pits, whilst battling annoying shamans riding flying clouds, aggressive bears that rush towards you on sight, hornets that patrol the skies or watch over their nests, giant frogs, and even an evil warlock boar named Witch Ogre that somehow reminds us of Ganon. The caverns offer a different dynamic, more akin to the aquatic worlds in Sonic the Hedgehog, always fighting against time since light sources are scarce and we're only being led by a swarm of fireflies with attention deficit disorder. In mere seconds, they will leave us hanging out to dry and darkness engulfs us, which in turn leaves us to the mercy of the red-eyed creatures that have been stalking us since the start. The result is a demise worthy of the movie Pitch Black, or perhaps the Krill from Gears of War. To survive, we will have to make constant stops near firefly nests, where we can replenish our hyperactive firefly swarm. There are also luminous crystals that extend the duration of the fireflies. Exploration in this type of stages is annoying. We could almost hear the frenetic Sonic drowning music right when we take a wrong turn, and we can tell if we'll be able to find a firefly nest in time to save ourselves. In these worlds, we'll find enemies like bats, giant worms with larvae, flying green eyes, venom-spitting fungi, and spiders. Mini-bosses are all alike, an archer riding a giant snail. Aesthetics don't seem to vary much. Every cavern stage looks similar to the others, making them feel more repetitive than it should. Fire towers are the most challenging. Their verticality, combined with multiple platform mechanisms that activate for a limited amount of time, demand a higher focus on coordination and mindful jumping. Checkpoints are scarce, and dying in many cases means to start again from the beginning. This type of levels are populated by fire-related enemies, most of them with the ability to fly, like flaming skeleton rams, scurrying beetles, and floating skulls. Mini-bosses, unlike every other in this game, are puzzle-based, resembling oversized Simon Says toys that require good memory and agility to keep up with the button patterns, while avoiding the fireballs that spawn from the walls. They're not especially hard and serve well to change the tone of the stage. The fire tower's aesthetic doesn't change much between levels either, so they feel like they were all part of the same stage. Each chapter is complemented by nightmare sequences, where the game turns into a runner. The screen moves sideways, at a constant pace, and we must avoid doom by jumping over platforms while evading spikes. If the ghostly hands reaching out from the left side of the screen manage to grab you, you'll have to start all over again. These sections are exciting, and completing them is accompanied by a comforting sense of accomplishment. Not only because of being able to reach the end, but because clearing them also unlocks a new ancestral power to use for the rest of the game. The challenge mini-stages are much shorter. Some are about destroying corruption orbs in order to unlock the exit. The others are rescue missions, where you'll have to vanquish every single enemy inhabiting the screen to be able to free your captured fellow clan members from their cells. Some of these levels are way too simple. There's one that's literally just a long hallway filled with numerous enemies of the same type. That's it. Which could make us think that these were the last to be included in the game, or maybe those didn't receive as much development time as other sections. Evidently, there's a lot more that can be done with its designs to make the challenges feel more innovative and interesting, urging the player to use the available skills in an unusual way, or mixing them in an unexpected form. We came across some bugs in Chapter 3's final level, perhaps due to being the most complex of the jungle stages group, frequently noticing enemies frozen in mid-air, or simply not responding to our presence. The game even crashed once while we were fighting the last mini-boss. Boss battles are a mixed plate. On one side, each boss has its own appearance and patterns, which is refreshing. but they're not very challenging. None of them demand much strategy from the player, and by having so many available skills, they could have symbolized more imposing obstacles to overcome. They're not bad by any means, but they could be much more epic than they are. Trophy hunters will feel right at home with this one. Gold and silver trophies abound, and there's even a platinum to seize. Very easily obtainable. It would take only a little bit of dedication and exploration to add them to your shelf. Furwind is brief but entertaining. Platform genre enthusiasts eager to try something new will find an enjoyable adventure to pass the time, but nothing meaningful in the challenge department. However, it's a very good game to share with those who have rarely tried this type of game, whether they are the youngest of the household, like children, young nephews, etc., or loved ones that don't tend to play games as much. Its detailed and colored aesthetic will capture their attention, and its responsive controls and abundant platforming mechanics will give them all the tools they need to conquer every obstacle, and be able to see this adventure all the way through. Boomfire Games brings us a fun fairy tale that we hope will turn into the cornerstone of an ample catalog of games in its future. Thank you for joining us. If you like this video, give it a like and share it with others. Your support inspires us to create bigger and better content. Join the Chutakoopas community in this journey through the infinite gaming world. Leave your opinions in the comment section below. We would love to know what you think and start a conversation with you. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our main site, chutakoopas.com. Looking for gaming t-shirts and hoodies? Visit our virtual Teespring store, Welcome to Chutakoopas, and you'll find tons of designs for you. We'll attach the link in the description. Take a look at the rest of our video gallery. We have podcasts, shows, and let's plays waiting for you, just a click away. See you around, and don't ever stop playing.